everybody, welcome back to another video, and today I want to dive a little bit deeper into the how-to bodyboarding series. Now this video I'm going to look at a more advanced approach to bodyboarding. This means I'm going to be touching on things that I have spoke in the past, but that I really want to focus on and show you guys a few little tips and tricks on how to better your riding. Now this is going to be through hand movement, your body positioning on the board, as well as the weight distribution throughout your bottom turns, as well as what you are looking at to hit the lip. Today, I want to dive into these things and explain exactly how they work using the pole mount that you guys have seen in previous videos. This is going to allow us to really dial in and show you guys exactly what needs to happen in order for you to get that timing correct, or alternatively find the correct positioning on the board, especially when you're taking off on bigger and more steeper waves. So before we get into today's video, I would just like to show you guys a short clip from today's sponsor. A huge thanks to manscaped.com for sponsoring today's video. Manscaped is the premier brand in men's grooming and hygiene products. They have created the first all-in-one men's grooming solution, the Performance Package 4.0. This package includes the flagship Lawnmower 4.0 waterproof electric trimmer, the new Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer, plus a ton of great liquid products. To top it all off, this kit comes with a travel bag, as well as the magic mat, which can be thrown down to reduce mess. Although the performance package comes with a ton of great products, for me, the best product has to be the trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 is a waterproof cordless electric trimmer. It has some awesome features, including the same ceramic blades with skin-safe technology to reduce nicks and cuts in even the most sensitive areas. Because it is waterproof, it makes cleaning that much easier, and the cordless trimmer also has wireless charging, giving you 90 minutes of shaving off a single charge. The Lawnmower 4.0 also has a very powerful motor with an LED light to help with a more precise shave. There is a new travel lock function that can be used to lock the Lawnmower 4.0 when traveling by simply clicking the button 3 times to lock and 3 times again to unlock. So if you want to support me and my channel, head on over to manscaped.com and use the code Iain20 to get 20% off. Your balls and your body will thank you. We're going to look at this first wave from Tunt, and I really want you guys to focus on the eye movement as well as the hip positionings when we're taking off on these waves. You can see at the start here already, I'm focused very much on what's happening down the line. I'm not so worried about what's coming over me, looking back or anything like that. I have already got momentum on this wave, so what I'm going to do here is I'm first going to shift the hips. Now, by doing that, I'm putting a lot more weight on the inside rail. This will allow me to really focus on a more down the line speed. As you can see here, the arm is at 90 degrees and I'm actually looking further down the line because I want to go and hit it. Now at this point here, you can see me shift a lot more forward because I want to gain as much speed as I can before I hit this section. Eyes are focused the entire time on that section further away. And as I go into this bottom turn here, you can see everything is very well distributed over the board. The back of my hips are in the center of the board, my eyes still focused on the lip, and I am actually pushing my shoulder a lot further over that 90-degree point that we are so used to seeing in order to gain as much speed as I can. And as I go up here, we can actually see that I stop looking at the lip whatsoever. I know that I'm going to hit it at the right time. I know I've been focusing on the lip the entire time of the wave, and now my focus goes back to where I am going to be landing. Now in this video here, you can see, and this is something that I've spoken about a lot in previous videos, especially when we talk about moves that need your head movement. My head is completely back now, not across my shoulder, not anywhere else, but straight back looking over. And that allows this flip to follow the head movement and to flip straight over like that. We get a little bit lost in the white water here with the pole cam, but as I spin it around here, you'll see very nicely out of the foam. This next one is a brilliant example of how you can use your hips in order to shift the weight across the board and allow you to get that back of the board into the wave a lot easier. This is something that is a lot more advanced and would probably only be for the riders that are really looking to get into these steeper, heavier waves and control the board that much better. When you are able to control the board and the rail in exactly the position you want it to go, you are able to shift your weight around the board and manipulate the board to do what you want to do. And now I'm focused the entire time with my eyes looking down the line. It's not focusing behind me, it's not focusing what's coming in front of me. All I want to know is what is coming up on this wave. So as I paddle into it here, you can see I push the hips across the board. Now, this is something that we've spoken about in the past, but I've never been able to show you guys. But now with the advantage of having this pole on the front, you can see my hips have been shifted from the center of the board like you saw in the previous wave to all the way on the right-hand side. This allows the arm to go a little bit further forward, allowing for you to pull the nose up as well as get that back rail a lot better into the wave. As I land back on this here, you can see my eyes are closed, but my arm is further back elbow very close into the side, and my hips completely on the inside rail. This is going to allow me to really dig that inside rail in and get as high up into the pocket that I can and onto that foam ball. As we go into this part here, you can see my shift is a lot more onto the other side of the rail in order to stop the board from getting sucked up and over the face. This allows the board to be very flat on the wave and allows you to get that down the line speed that you need. And as we go through this wave here, there's just a couple little micromanaging inside here. Hips again, back on the other side of the board onto the right hand side, keeping that rail dug in. And as we go through this section here, you can see I'm again shifting the weight again to the center of the board to allow that board to get that straight line speed. And as we come out the barrel here, you can see I shift the hips forward. Now that I'm out of the wave, I want to get as much speed as I can, shift those hips forward, keep that arm at 90 degrees and come out of that barrel. Going into this next wave, it is a left-hander. Now I wanted to use this wave because I wanted to show you guys exactly what it looks like when you go from the barrel and then come straight out and look at that next air section. So at the start here, you'll see paddling a little bit slower than the last wave. I want to keep my speed as slow as possible so that I can fall into this wave and pretty much just stay on the foam ball the entire time. You can see my weight still very much at the back of the board. This was still from me kicking, so it allows the weight to be on the back corner of the board. At this point here, we go from having the hips in the center of the board. You can see and shift my hips across to the left-hand corner of the board as we are starting to bottom turn on a left-hander. My belly is now pretty much on the back of the board. Arm extend a little bit more so that I can drag my legs, using it as a sort of rudder or as a way to get into this wave. I'm dragging the legs a lot. The inside leg is now completely off the board and in the water, allowing to keep that pressure on the back corner of the board. As I get around and to the position that I want, so after I've finished that bottom turn, you'll see that the hips will now shift a little bit more into the center of the board and actually throw my legs out to slow myself down in order to get myself into the barrel. So now that I'm in the barrel, I'm using a lot of the inside leg to slow myself down and put myself onto that foam ball. And as we ride through this barrel, the facial features are phenomenal here. We can see proper barrel face going on. I'm just sitting on that foam ball and allowing it to kind of push me through this. But as we get close to the end of this barrel, we can see my weight here is going from it being completely off the end of the board. You can see here I start to shift my weight a lot more forward, pulling myself forward and pulling my legs onto the board in order to get that speed and push out of the wave off the foam ball. So as we go through this here, we can see that arm is way more at 90 degrees now, and we are now looking at a down the line speed. We pulled ourselves all the way up onto the board, elbows still very close into the body for maximum control. And as we come out of this, eyes directly at where I want to hit the wave. You can see I'm looking up at this section here, And because this was the first time me riding with this pole mount, I was a little bit nervous about it coming back and hitting me. So I misjudged this a little bit and kind of went off the back, but it gives you a good idea of what you are looking for as soon as you come out of that wave. Obviously, these things are happening a lot faster, but this will give you a little bit of control and a little bit of understanding as to exactly how to come out of those waves and hit that section. So in this wave, we're going to be looking at another right-hander, but this specifically was just a barrel and something that I really thought looked cool. You can see me paddling very hard onto this one. I have one hand on the front of the board, and this is pushing the nose down in order for you to get that kind of forward momentum, but at the same time I am kicking exceptionally hard, fins consistently under the water, never breaking the surface. You can see my hand very deep in the water, all the way down to my elbow, maybe even a little bit further. And as I get enough momentum, I'll put both hands on the front of the board, pull myself a little bit forward, and you can see I actually just push the nose a little bit further down there. But now we have momentum to start riding on this wave. Shift the hand a little bit further back, which will allow you to start the bottom turn. You can see there's a few bumps on the wave. I'm sitting pretty much neutral. This would be the position that I would sit if I was just riding basic straight down the line. You can see my arm is at 90 degrees, elbow still tucked in on the back side. And as we start to bottom turn here, you will once again see that the hips are now slightly off center once again. This is now to get a more direct and a lot more speed down the line here. But as soon as we get into this bottom turn, you can see how much I've leaned forward in order to keep that speed going, as well as getting the hips slightly off center. As we come around here, you can see my eyesight is completely locked onto that next section of the wave. I come up here, shift the hips and the body a little bit more to the center of the board. If I had kept them on the inside, this would have put me into the face of the wave and potential to get sucked over. And as we run through this here, ducking the head inside, you can see hips are now centered on the board. This is basically just riding as we would normally down the face. And as we go into this one, again, feeling the weight of the board getting pushed across the wave, I now shift the hips once again onto the inside of the board, allowing for you to really dig that inside rail in. I almost stay in this position the entire time through this barrel and move the hips ever so slightly across the board. And as we come out of this, you can see I just sit up again, be nice and tall, and then wait for that next movement. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys have a lot more understanding on the weight distribution, specifically on the back of the board. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to drop them down below. And I just want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor again, manscaped.com. I really appreciate your guys' support on this. If you guys would like to pick up the products, support them, support my channel and support me, hit them up in the description down below. Go check them out. They're available in a bunch of different countries around the world. If you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up button as well as subscribing to the channel for more bodyboard related content, and we will see you guys in the next one.